Welcome to another edition of Parks Are for People, brought to you by the County of Los Angeles. I'm Steve Foulger, and I'll be showing you some of the best sports and recreation events available for you to enjoy here in the Southland. You're looking at one of the most spectacular views in Southern California. This is the Devil's Punch Bowl, and we'll be touring the bowl a little bit later in the show. We'll be off for a visit to the William S. Hart Museum for a taste of both the Wild West and the Roaring '20s. After that, we'll take a look at the future of professional basketball as we check in on the Pepsi NBA hotshots. Then we'll be off to Bonelli Park to take stock of what this regional park has to offer in the way of summer fun. And finally, we'll discover the inner workings of the martial art known as Aikido. But first, we're really going to take you for a ride as we cycle along with some of the best mountain bikers in California as they compete in the Otterbein Cyclocross. So stay with us. We're off on another Parks Are for People video adventure. These hills behind Otterbein Park in Hacienda Heights will soon bear witness to one of the newest and toughest off-road bicycle races in Southern California. A trial of machine, muscle, and sheer determination. A race known as the Otterbein Cyclocross. To understand how the cyclocross evolved, one must look back into the history of cycling and to another continent. The first cyclocross competitions were begun by European racers who wanted to stay fit during the bleak winter months. Equipping their bicycles with thick tires, they would ride the dirt roads and forest trails of their homelands. The cyclocross was rare in America, mostly used by professionals and cycling groups. But recent innovations in bicycle manufacturing have begun to change all that. They're called the all-terrain bicycle, but most people know them as mountain bikes. Made specifically to ride the dirt roads and hilly trails, the mountain bike is a bold leap in the evolution of off-road bicycle racing. These cycles are made with extra low gears and heavy-duty frames. The brakes and handlebars have been specially designed for off-road use. These features help the bicycle endure punishments that no ordinary bike could withstand, allowing the rider to go where no cyclist has gone before. We'll be following the most demanding category of the competition, the senior men's division. These tough competitors must cycle a total of 18 miles through unforgiving conditions. To see just how demanding the race will be, we walk the course on the day before the race. The first section of the race is on this dirt road, which is wide and smooth. Look for speed from the racers and a lot of position changing. Riders will want to be out in front for the next section of the cyclocross, the narrow trail. Here the riders will break out of formation. The steep uphill sections will require a delicate sense of balance and a great deal of brute strength. Some areas are so steep that the riders will be forced to dismount and carry their bikes up the hill.
Most of the downhill sections have no trails or roads, and the racers have to be careful of the many potholes and bumps hidden in the tall grass.
The last downhill will demand an incredible amount of skill, as riders must negotiate these tight turns at high speeds. After they make it through these hairpin turns, they then have a long, smooth path down through the trees to the finish line. But the race isn't over. They then must complete 3 more laps of the course. The race quickly becomes a series of individual struggles. Competitors battle time and terrain in the hope of putting distance between themselves and the others. Only the toughest competitors are able to remain on their bikes and ride these hills. Many dismount and push their bicycles to the top. Little wonder the cyclocross is often called a cycling and running event. A quick turn and the racers find themselves heading downhill. But downhill doesn't mean easier. The riders must hang on as they fight to stay on their cycles.
The riders struggle to the top of the last hill on the course. First to the top means first to the bottom, usually. The front runners are experienced racers and they know anything can happen on the steep and winding road leading into the park. Through the trees and down into the equestrian area, the riders have only completed the first of 3 laps. As the riders rack up the miles, their faces begin to show the physical demands of this grueling event. When it began, they rode to win. Now they ride to finish. Once atop the last hill on the final lap, the competitors know that now is the time to pour it on. The winner of the senior men's division was newcomer John Harrow. In second place was current off-road champion John Tomac, and the women's category was taken by 1986 world champion Cindy Whitehead. One by one, the racers crossed the finish line, completing the final lap of a race that took incredible effort and courage to compete in. Today, these competitors can be proud to have finished the Otterbein Cyclocross. With the race over, quiet returns to the hills of Otterbein Park. The calm beauty of this land will remain undisturbed, at least until next year. Before the days of Hopalong Cassidy, there was another great Western film star. William S. Hart was a cowboy hero during the silent film era, in the early days of Hollywood, when the movies, as they were being called, were magical illusions. Hart created the cowboy image that has endured for many decades of filmmaking. He was born in 1864, growing up in Sioux Indian Territory in Oklahoma. During his youth, Hart lived in an era that he would later glorify on film. He moved to New York City and became a Shakespearean actor on Broadway. At the age of 49, Hart went west, lured by the newly created film industry. He became a Hollywood legend. During the period between 1914 and 1925, he made 70 films, only the last of which was a talkie.
After Hart retired at the age of 61, he made his home in the hills above Newhall, calling his 265-acre estate La Loma de los Vientos, meaning Hill of the Winds. From the top of the estate, he could gaze across the Santa Clarita Valley to the Tehachapi Range. The architecture of the estate is that of a Spanish villa. Hart made his home a centerpiece for memorabilia from his career and for works of art from the western frontier that he immortalized. Hart lived here until his death at the age of 81. In his will, Two Gun Bill left his home to the county of Los Angeles, requesting that the estate be opened to the public. He wanted his fans to enjoy what their quarters and dimes had made possible.
The estate is now a museum, housing an extensive collection of paintings, sculptures, and historical artifacts that provide a glimpse into the life and times of William S. Hart.
Among the Hollywood memorabilia are photographs of Hart's famous peers. Along with these are a collection of still photos depicting Hart throughout his career. The museum showcases a diverse collection of Western art. One of the more famous pieces is Charles Russell's Buffalo Hunt. Frederick Remington is also represented, as the museum contains a number of his bronze sculptures. The museum is also known for maintaining an extensive collection of Native American art.
Tours are conducted Wednesday through Sunday, and the grounds of the estate have been developed into a park, which is open 7 days a week. The park is located off Highway 14 in Newhall.
Each year, 50,000 visitors walk through the estate, but only a handful actually remember Hart for his work on the silver screen. Many visitors arrive at the museum for a tour of the art collection, only to come away with a newly developed awareness of one of Hollywood's earliest stars.
East Africa's not where most American couples might settle, but most aren't like Peace Corps volunteers Anita and Jim Powell's. They're teaching fish farming in a race against hunger, helping people to survive today's problems and tomorrow's. There'll be fish in the ponds and protein in the diets. No matter what your skill, you don't know how much you have to offer until you offer it. Take home a world of experience and leave behind something that will last for generations. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
These young men and women are here at the LA Sports Arena to compete in the Pepsi NBA Hot Shot Area Finals. The players on this court have traveled from as far away as Nevada and Arizona, as well as Southern California, to demonstrate their basketball skills before a crowd of thousands. How did they get here? Where did they start?
They started here, or places just like this. The players in the Pepsi Hot Shot Challenge began competing in a local gym or playground.
The Hot Shot program is a year-round basketball skills contest that allows kids to compete outside of school. Held throughout the country, this year-round recreation activity is designed to promote basketball enthusiasm as well as skill. Youngsters in the U.S. play basketball more often than any other sport. Pepsi-Cola, the National Basketball Association, and youth organizations across the country have combined to channel this interest into a contest which everyone can play and enjoy. The result is the Pepsi NBA Hot Shot program.
Any recreational organization can become involved with the Pepsi Hot Shot program. The program coordinator here in Los Angeles is the County Department of Parks and Recreation.
After nearly a year of competition at county parks and recreation areas, the winners are invited to the Southgate Sports Center for the regional championships. Once inside, the competitors are ready for some challenging basketball action.
Hot shot! Show us what you got!
The rules of the Hot Shot program are aimed at developing and demonstrating basketball handling skills rather than team competition. The event involves shooting baskets from 5 hot spots marked on one half of a basketball court. The competition tests a youngster's speed, shooting, dribbling, and rebound ability within a series of 3 one-minute time periods. The different locations on the court have various point values. If the players attempt one shot from each spot, they're awarded more points. The youngster with the highest number of points is declared the winner. The kids are divided into categories by age and sex. First into boys and girls, and then into 3 age groups, 9 to 12, 13 to 15, and 16 to 18. Only 24 finalists will be chosen for the regional championships. The competition is held during halftime of a Clippers game at the LA Sports Arena. Now these youngsters must demonstrate their skills on the same court used by the pros. When it's all over, the points are tallied and the regional winners are chosen. Then it's back out on the court for applause from the audience for a job well done.
Jamie, congratulations. You did pretty well out there. How did you feel? You must have been nervous, huh?
Yeah, I was really nervous going in. And then when I started hitting my shots, I felt much better.
How long have you been playing?
6 years.
And what was your favorite shot out there? What seemed to work for you tonight?
The five shot.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. What is your name?
Nicole Erickson.
Nicole, were you nervous out there tonight?
Yeah, it was really scary with all the crowd.
How'd you do?
I got 91 points, and that put me in first
Well, fantastic. Congratulations. How long have you been playing?
for 3 years.
Will you be back next year?
Yeah.
Great. We hope to see you.
Thanks.
For the winners, the next stop is the National Championship. This will determine the best hotshot player in the United States. The Los Angeles County is proud to have helped these youngsters on their way to national acclaim. Who knows, one day we might see one of these competitors again, using the skills learned today in the NBA of tomorrow. About 63 million years ago, this area was covered by ocean. After the water receded, a 10,000-foot layer of marine sediment was left behind. From that sediment rose these towering walls of rock that are now known as the Devil's Punch Bowl.
The hills on which I'm standing are part of one of the world's greatest geological wonders. We're looking at the San Andreas Fault, an earthquake zone which extends from San Francisco to the Gulf of Mexico.
Because of the movement along this fault line, the pink and tan colored sediment left by the ancient ocean has been compressed, broken, and tilted. Wind and water added to this erosion process, with the end result being these strangely shaped rocks.
The area was discovered in 1853 by Secretary of War Jefferson Davis. Davis stumbled upon the Punch Bowl on an expedition to find a route for the railroad.
In 1857, the great Fort Tejon earthquake caused the uplifted bowl-like characteristics that we see today. Settlers tried to cross the bowl in the late 1800s. Because of the rough terrain, these pioneers named the area the Devil's Punch Bowl. The County of Los Angeles first surveyed the Punch Bowl for the development of a natural area in 1949. In 1963, a 1,300-acre park was dedicated, and today is open for visitors to enjoy the spectacular beauty of the Devil's Punch Bowl.
The bowl lies southeast of Pearblossom, where the Angeles National Forest meets the Mojave Desert. The bowl is 5,000 feet in elevation, while the canyon is 300 feet deep.
Nature hikers with more stamina can choose from a network of trails that fan out from the Punch Bowl into the mountains above the park, where the Pacific Crest Trail passes nearby. For those of you who enjoy easier hikes, a half-mile self-guided nature trail loops around the upper rim of the bowl. Detailed information about all aspects of the park is available at a visitor center located near the entrance.
The Devil's Punch Bowl is a fantastic geological wonder, a land of contradictions and beauty. Come up and see for yourself why parks are for people.
Think about this. If every one of us gave just 5 hours a week to the causes we care about, it would be like mobilizing more than 20 million full-time volunteers just to tackle the problems of our society. We could all but wipe out drug abuse, juvenile crime, illiteracy, all those things we keep hoping will go away without our help. Just 5 hours a week. But it has to start with somebody, so give 5. What you get back is immeasurable.
The recreational needs of Los Angeles County are perhaps the most diverse in the world. While one park could never hope to fill all of these needs, there is a place that comes pretty darn close. That place is Bonelli Park in San Dimas.
Located 30 miles east of downtown Los Angeles, Bonelli Park has more activities to do in one day than there is time to do it. The park was originally the Puddingstone Reservoir. Created in 1928 by the completion of the Puddingstone Dam, the lake was a popular getaway for valley residents. In 1970, the County Department of Parks and Recreation began to develop the lake and the surrounding land for greater recreational use.
In 1972, County Supervisor Frank G. Bonelli passed away while in office. Because he was the biggest supporter of the development, Bonelli Park was named in his honor.
Today, Bonelli Park is a 2,000-acre recreational area that receives over 2 million visitors a year. The biggest attraction in the park is Puddingstone Lake. This 250-acre lake offers the sportsman aquatic activities not easily found elsewhere. The lake is open to powerboating, sailing, and water skiing. Windsurfing boards and lessons are also available at the lake. Bonelli Park is extremely popular with local fishermen who want quality fishing without having to travel far. Over 500,000 people fish Puddingstone Lake each year. Fishing from a boat is allowed throughout the lake and on the east and south shores. The lake is regularly stocked by the Department of Fish and Game from late winter until early summer. Skilled fishing enthusiasts can expect to find trout, bass, bluegill, and catfish. Let's not forget the most basic requirement for a good park, a nice place to hold a picnic. The most popular area in Bonelli is Picnic Valley on the south side of the lake. These sites offer the park goer shade, tables, and a place to barbecue. People who want the beach, but not the long drive and the crowds, should visit the county swim beach on the south side of the lake. There's sand and sun aplenty for those who want to soak up the rays. And swimming is allowed on weekends throughout the spring and summer. Trained lifeguards are always on duty during the swim hours. The park is also host to the U.S. Triathlon Relay Championships and the LA Series. A triathlon at Bonelli Park usually includes a 1-kilometer swim in Puddingstone Lake, a 40-kilometer bicycle race, and an 8-kilometer foot race inside the park. These events are highly popular and attract participants from all over the United States. The park also features the beautiful Mountain Meadows Golf Course. This is a full-sized 18-hole public golf course with some of the most complete facilities in the area. There are even 2 putting greens and a lighted driving range.
One of Bonelli Park's greatest assets is the 1,100 acres of untouched land which surround the park. This natural area provides a buffer between the city outside and the park inside.
Hiking trails run through the park, allowing visitors to see Southern California as it once was. The rolling hills and canyons are filled with native chaparral and cactus, as well as nearly 100 other species of plants. There are several privately owned and operated concessions at the park. One of the best-known attractions is Raging Waters. With 40 acres of slides, rapids, and pools, Raging Waters is the largest water theme park in the western United States. The horseback rider can find much to do at Bonelli Park. There is a privately owned equestrian center in the park that offers lessons and boarding. Here can even be found one of the few calf roping arenas in Los Angeles County. For the rider who prefers a little more calm, there are over 14 miles of riding and hiking trails throughout the park. Bonelli Park can be reached by taking the 210 freeway east or the 57 freeway north to the Via Verde exit in San Dimas. And there's an admission charge for entering the park.
At the end of a full day of enjoying all that Bonelli Park has to offer, what better way to unwind than with a dip in one of the many hot tubs provided by Puddingstone Hot Tubs? Each tub is privately enclosed and provides a spectacular view of the lake and park below.
During his efforts to create this park, Supervisor Bonelli once said, "From fairways to waterways, Puddingstone Lake will offer unparalleled opportunities, so vital for healthful living in our urban society."
Okay.
Is this the way to spiritual harmony? We're watching Aikido expert Steve Tranovich demonstrate some of the more gentle techniques of the martial art known as Aikido.
Ki is the energy that an attacker is extending towards you. And what we do is we harmonize with that energy. We blend with that energy. And then we can take control of the situation from there.
Just another Thursday night at Santa Clarita Park in Saugus, where for over 4 years, Steve has volunteered his time and energy, or ki as it is referred to in Aikido, to teach, enlighten, and otherwise expound on the techniques and benefits of this relatively unknown martial art.
Aikido is the way of life through harmony with energy, or harmony with nature.
At first glance, Aikido bears little resemblance to the passive, unresisting form of self-defense that it is purported to be. As you can see, appearances can be deceiving.
So we decided to come out to Santa Clarita Park ourselves and find out firsthand. Just what the essence of this Zen-like martial art is all about.
According to Master Morihei Ueshiba, founder of Aikido, who died in 1969 at the age of 86, the physical techniques of the martial arts are merely the means to an end. Maybe so, but that doesn't mean some of these gentle techniques don't smart when performed on a poor, unsuspecting bully or two. Although its roots are tied closely to Jiu-Jitsu, which dates back 1,000 years, Aikido was actually born in the late 1930s. The fruit of a lifetime of study, martial arts master Ueshiba began to develop the art in 1938 after over 40 years of training in the related arts of Aikijitsu and Jiu-Jitsu. Master Ueshiba's intention was to shape the art into a form of self-defense totally non-combative in nature. This followed suit with his philosophy that the essence of all martial arts lies in the spirit, and that the goal of these arts is achieving peaceful harmony in the world. To this end, the ki, or energy force of the universe, is employed. According to one of the most fundamental laws of the martial arts, this energy force lies within all living things. The challenge is to learn to blend one's ki with that of the universe and, in a defensive situation, with that of the aggressor. In so doing, the defender uses the aggressor's own force of attack against him.
Probably one of the most unique aspects of Aikido is that there's not a single offensive technique in the art. The only way you can use it is if you're attacked.
Steve Tranovich has been studying Aikido for over 7 years.
I took up Aikido because, for one thing, I've had a long-term interest in the martial arts. I'd practiced judo when I was a kid and in college a little bit. And I had done a lot of reading about Aikido through the years, and when I moved to Los Angeles, I decided that I'd like to try it out, and I've been at it ever since.
In 1985, Steve was promoted to Shodan, or first-degree black belt. He began teaching the art as a Nikkyu, or second-degree brown belt. Desiring to introduce the art to his neighbors in the Santa Clarita Valley, Steve brought his program to the Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation in 1984.
As you can see, Aikido is much more than a form of self-defense. It's a philosophy. As was intended by its founder, Aikido is really a way of looking at life.
Steve conducts beginning and advanced classes year-round, every Thursday night at Santa Clarita Park. So if you're looking for a quiet way to spend the evening, come on down and check it out. And may the Force be with you.
Well, that wraps up another edition of Parks Are for People. We invite you to come out and enjoy all that recreation has to offer, like this view of the Devil's Punch Bowl. Because after all, parks are for people. I'm Steve Foulger, and we'll see you next time.